Hey guys, I'm Pratima and today I will be talking about the Vivo T1 5G smartphone. As you guys might know, Vivo as a brand has not really been able to build a name for itself when it comes to budget and mid-range smartphones. Just look at some of the recent Vivo Y series of phones. They are way too underpowered and underspec for the price, and hence they haven't been able to compete against the likes of Xiaomi, Realme and even Samsung for that matter. And now it seems like Vivo wants to turn this tale around with its T lineup of devices. For starters, T is an entirely new series from the brand that is geared towards the Gen Z audience. And at present, it consists of only one smartphone, the Vivo T1 5G, which one of our team members has been using for over 2 weeks now. We have it in the 6GB RAM and 128GB storage configuration, which costs 17,000 rupees in India. That price puts it in the same league as the recently launched Realme 9 Pro 5G and the Redmi Note 11T 5G. As a result, it has got quite a competition here. So is Vivo heading to the right direction with the T series, or is it just a Y series in disguise? Let's find out in our in-depth review. Okay, first things first, the most alluring aspect of this smartphone, like most Vivo phones, is its design. It is available in two color options, Starlight Black and Rainbow Fantasy, and I have it in this black color that features a glitter embossed finish on the back. After using some flashy looking phones like the V23 Pro and the Reno 7 Pro, I wanted to go with something subtle, so I grabbed this one. And to be honest, this black shade looks much better in person than it does in pictures, don't you think? Plus, the T1 comes with a matte finish that does not attract any fingerprints or smudges, so that's good too. At 8.25mm, it's definitely slim if not the slimmest, and with just 187 grams of weight, it's not bulky either. Then there are these 2.5D flat frames on the sides that provide you with a really comfortable grip. Likewise, for biometrics, the right frame houses a fingerprint sensor infused in the power button, which is quite fast and accurate. Here I can see how much work Vivo has put in to achieve this design, but one thing that has bugged me is this dewdrop notch on the front. As one can easily tell, the notch makes the phone look quite outdated in 2022. Regardless, the front greets you with a 6.58 inches screen with a full HD Plus resolution. Now, it's not an AMOLED panel, but for the most part, it's quite good. Contrast looks sharp with good colors, and the screen can get sufficiently bright as well. And while the display on the T1 does not have any HDR10 certification, you do get Wide1 L1 support for full HD streaming on OTT platforms like Netflix. In terms of audio, it has a bottom-firing mono speaker that can get quite loud enough for casual multimedia consumption, but it definitely does not provide the immersiveness of a stereo speaker setup. Call quality is more than satisfactory though. I got no complaint from the people on the receiving end about the loudness or clarity of my voice. Anyway, moving on, this screen also boasts a 120Hz refresh rate to deliver a smooth UI scrolling experience, while the top sampling rate can hit 240Hz on the game mode. But things aren't well optimized here to make the full use of higher refresh rate. In our time with the device, there were multiple instances where we had to deal with frequent stutters in animations while opening apps or scrolling through social media feeds, and sometimes it showed serious lags to the point of frustration as well. The issue got fixed to some extent with an update in the first week of March, even though you can still witness twitches in animations when multitasking between apps and sometimes when scrolling through the Google newsfeed. And this issue is persistent in 60Hz and 90Hz mode too, so I hope Vivo fixes this with another software update ASAP. Anyways, keeping the transition issue aside, the Vivo T1's performance is pretty swift for a mid-range device. Powering this handset is the Snapdragon 695 SoC, which on a quick glance may feel like a mediocre processor, but actually it's not. In fact, Snapdragon 695 has newer Cortex-A78 and Cortex-A55 cores and can deliver performance comparable to the Snapdragon 750G. As I have already used the 695 in the Moto G71, I am well aware of what this processor is capable of. The phone can easily handle regular day-to-day tasks, while you will have no complaints with its memory management either. On to the gaming side of things, PUBG Mobile caps out at HD graphics and high frame rate settings, where you get fairly stable gameplay with no major stutters. For the smoothest of experience, smooth graphics and ultra frame rate yields a better result though. Similarly, Pokemon Unite, which offers 60 FPS gameplay, is well playable at its highest settings. Relatively heavy games like Genshin Impact is only playable at 30 FPS by dialing down everything in the settings to low. But even at the lowest of settings, you will still notice stutters every now and then. Overall, the Snapdragon 695 is still a pretty capable chipset for day-to-day performance, but don't expect it to give you an edge on gaming. Plus, this SoC is manufactured on a 6nm process, so you can expect a good battery life here. And despite the slim form factor, Vivo has managed to squeeze a fairly big 5000 mAh battery within. In our usage, we got around 7 to 8 hours of screen on time almost every day on moderate usage. However, Vivo has done some cost cutting on the charging front by providing just 18-watt charging support. To be honest, 18-watt speed on a mid-range phone does not feel like fast charging anymore, as it takes around 2 hours and 10 minutes to fully juice up this 5000 mAh battery. And like the charging speed, Vivo has also compromised on providing a good number of 5G bands here, as the Vivo T1 only supports 2 of them. This is much lower than what other companies are providing in this price range. On the software front, the Vivo T1 has an edge over other mid-range phones as it boosts on PhoneTouch OS 12, which is based on Android 12. As a result, you get to enjoy major Android 12 privacy-focused features like privacy dashboard, camera or microphone indicator, and others. About software updates, well, there is no official announcement about the number of Android updates it will get, but I am hoping that Vivo has plans to push at least up to Android 14 update on the Vivo T1. Okay, time to talk about its cameras. Hardware-wise, it's nothing extraordinary here. The phone even misses out on an ultra-wide-angle sensor, and there are these 2-megapixel gimmicky lenses for depth and macro shots. So the only piece of camera that one can rely on is this 50-megapixel primary lens. And thankfully, the main camera can pull off some great shots. Here, the photos are not that oversaturated and have a natural color tone, while it maintains contrast very well too. And the images retain a good dynamic range as well. Overall, you will be quite happy with the photography prowess of the phone during good lighting conditions. Now, for portraits, the Vivo T1 zooms in a bit for a better subject focus. The images here have a nice background blur and a good skin tone, while the edge detection is decent for a mid-range phone. Likewise, the exposure is nicely balanced even against direct lighting environment. Moreover, the selfies are also quite good with a maintained exposure level in the background. It smoothens the subject a bit, but that does not look unnatural by any means. During low light, images from the Vivo T1 have a decent level of detail with fairly controlled light flares. The night mode does help to improve the details. However, in the majority of situations, it focuses solely on the light sources and tries to control the exposure in such areas that results in an overall dark image than the regular nighttime shots. On to the video side of things, the Vivo T1 can record up to 1080p 60 fps resolution from its rear cameras. Unfortunately, it does not come with any type of stabilization though. As a result, there were noticeable shakes in the videos while walking around. The story remains the same in 1080p 30 fps footages too. Likewise, selfie videos cap out at 1080p 30 fps, and the videos are not stabilized here either. It also struggles to maintain exposure in the background. Okay, this brings me to the end of this video. So, should you buy this phone? Frankly speaking, I am hesitant to say a direct yes, and I have some reasons for saying that. Yes, it has a fairly capable chipset and the camera can pull off some great photos, but that's basically where the edge of the Vivo T1 comes to an end. Despite having a 120Hz display, it is not fully optimized. The ultra-wide-angle sensor is missing from the camera stack, and while being a 5G focused device, it even lacks a sufficient number of 5G bands. And the company has not even included a stereo speaker setup to enhance the multimedia experience. So, putting the pros and cons side by side on a scale, I definitely do not need to tell you which side has the upper hand. So, for a similar price, I believe the Realme 9 Pro and the Galaxy F23 are definitely better value for money 5G phones. And if you don't need a 5G phone, the Redmi Note 11 Pro is a safe bet in my opinion. Still, if you're set on getting the Vivo T1 5G, then you should probably eye on the IQOO Z6 5G instead, which just launched in India. These two are basically the same phone, but the IQOO Z6 comes out cheaper with bank discounts during its introductory offer. So guys, that was all for our full review of the all-new Vivo T1 5G. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Till then, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.